Behind home plate, we bringing it to them all day. All day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. Always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your Dealing Center host, Matt Soroka. As always, and in person, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka.
Hey, it took us a few weeks to get together.
Yeah.
Had internet problems for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
First me, then you. But it's not like anything's going on in Oriole baseball to talk about.
Yeah, well, I feel my internet issues were more excusable because I was in Bumpus, Virginia, with my internet issues. You were in
I was in a 5-star...
A nice hotel.
I was in a 5-star resort in the Keys that for some reason the internet couldn't work.
Oh, 5-star.
No
Is
sense.
that a bathrobe situation there in the hotel?
Bathrobes? There were no bathrobes.
Okay.
There were dolphins and iguanas. Was it iguanas? Yeah, iguanas. Have you ever seen an iguana?
Sure.
Do you know how big an iguana is?
I think they're good size.
I thought iguanas were like little, like pocketable animals.
Weren't iguanas, like when it gets cold, they just drop from trees randomly? Isn't that the iguana?
Yeah, that's the iguanas. When they get cold in Miami, they just fall from the trees.
Yeah.
That's why I thought iguanas were little pocketable like animals, like the chameleon on Entangled.
Yeah.
Or
like,
whatever that show was, Tangled.
Is it an iguana on Dora the Explorer? Isn't there an iguana buddy on that one?
No, there's a monkey.
No, I think there's an iguana somewhere.
No.
There.
There's Boots, the monkey.
Yeah.
And there's a cow.
There's not a cow on Dora the
Hold
Explorer.
on. The girls are with us. Girls, is there an iguana in...
There's a map and a backpack and a monkey.
There's no iguana?
No.
Is there a children's cartoon that has an iguana?
No, there is not.
All right.
But iguanas are like bigger than cats. It's like the size of a small dog.
Yeah, but they...
And they just roam around free. Like, I think, did I send you the video of it just climbing on the pool?
Yeah.
Like on the pool lounge chair, it doesn't care that people are there. So I also went to the Everglades and saw a bunch of alligators close up. And
Look at you, Josh, out in the wild.
I know. And I did a fan boat ride. Have you ever done a fan boat ride?
No, I've never done a fan boat ride. And I'll tell you right now, I will never do a fan boat ride.
Do you know what a fan boat is?
Yes, I've seen them on such shows where, you know, the boat is motored by those big old fans in the back. I've seen them on the telly.
Yeah, and you got to wear the big ear protection headphones.
Oh, you did because they're loud?
Because they're so loud.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Got to see a bunch of animals.
Good. I'm glad you had that experience. See, we've been busy in these 2 weeks.
I also went to Key West. Totally different experience than the Everglades.
Yeah. All right.
So.
I can imagine.
But yeah, that's why we haven't podcast in 2 weeks, because of internet issues.
Yeah. And we've been to some Oriole games in the meantime.
Yeah.
I went to a Friday night game. You went to a Saturday night game. You saw a better game than I did.
Yeah, I did. And I found out this morning.
But I got the better giveaway, I think.
I found out this morning that the Zany Burt Rhodey was also at the game that I went to.
Oh, that's funny.
And I don't know why we never texted each other.
That's funny.
We didn't know it.
Yeah.
So, but now we're together in the Outer Banks, so we get to record together.
Yeah.
And then hopefully record some more stuff this week.
Yeah, maybe make up for the missing 2 weeks.
What's the chances that we get Burt to talk on the microphone this week?
You seem rather confident. I would put that number at 20%.
I think it depends if we record during the day.
Yeah. You got to get Burt in the right mood.
I think the girls, though, are having a fun time playing games while we're podcasting.
Yeah.
I think they're entertained by us just talking to ourselves.
This is a multi-use facility we're in, a multi-use room. The table we're at used to eat dinner, now used for games and podcasting.
Right. Other people do listen to us. We don't just talk to each other.
Yeah. Did we? Well, maybe. It would be fun if we just recorded this each week and it was just us listening to ourselves.
No, you know what? It's a good point for me to say hi to Eric like I do every year, because I always see his dad at the middle school camp I go to, Christian. And we sent him a selfie, and this year's response was, "Why haven't you recorded in 3 weeks?"
Yeah. Well, it's glad people are asking questions, because we usually don't take weeks off, and it's good when people ask questions.
Yeah. So there's at least one listener, and a couple other people have sent us DMs and stuff. So We're going to take care of you this summer. Hopefully some extra stuff this week.
All right. Well, I wrote a list of topics, and so I'm going to read the list, and you just tell me what you want to start with.
All right. This is topics we've missed over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll start with my first topic here is Masson, which I didn't even know was a topic, but you told me it was a topic, so I put it on here.
All right.
The draft upcoming, it's sneaking up on us. It's in 4 days, the MLB draft.
All right. I now don't like the timing of the draft. I liked it a couple years ago when they changed it. Now I don't. But moving on.
All-Star game.
Oh, yeah. We got our selections.
Yeah, I think we should definitely touch on that one.
We better touch on that because we're on pace to schedule with that. That's not catch up.
All right. But the other topics were Jordan Westberg call-up. We missed the Jordan Westberg call-up.
We did miss it. Is that old news yet?
No, we're still a week in. I think that's still
we'll
relevant. Which leads to a larger discussion, I think, about a crowded infield.
Yeah.
Which is related to a discussion about a crowded outfield. Elias said on the game a couple days ago that Cowser is a phone call away. He's ready. There's just no spot for him now. So Cowser in the crowded outfield, I think, is another topic we need to touch on.
I thought we might have seen the call today.
Yeah, with the Hayes injury.
Yep. So, all right, let's get to that.
And then more recently, we just watched the first game of what feels like a really big series in the Bronx versus two teams fighting it out for second place.
And a tough loss. So it kind of goes on to our struggles this past week.
Right, which my last topic was our offensive slump recently, and how big of a concern is that? All right, but let's start. You want to start with the All-Star game?
Yeah, you got to spin the wheel and just land on All-Star game?
Yeah, we'll do All-Star game and Jordan Westberg. Let's get those, and then if we have time for anything else, we'll...
All right, so we got 4 selections. By now, everybody knows.
Yeah, 4 first-time selections, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right?
4 first. Yes, they are all.
Isn't that fun? The first time you selected the All-Star game.
Yes. All right, so we got Adley Rutschman.
Yeah,
which we all knew was happening.
Yeah, that was a surprise. No, were you upset, mad, disappointed, angry, frustrated that he wasn't a starter?
No, because I got to feel good for Jonah Heim.
Yeah,
friend of the show, knows family, went to ball games with his family. His grandmother used to send us mail.
Yeah,
as long time 336ers will know.
Yeah, I remember sitting down having a good long conversation with his dad about.
Yep,
Jonah. I remember I was really into. At what age do you know that he's good? Like, can you tell at 5 that Jonah Heim is going to be a special player?
His dad's got a nice Orioles tattoo.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jan Duquette.
I bet he has an athletics tattoo as well now.
And probably a Texas Rangers tattoo.
Yeah.
But no.
Texas Rangers tattoo, yes.
But he was on Oakland for a little bit, yeah. But no, to see Jonah Heim get selected, I know it sucks that he went up against Adley Rutschman. Do you want to start about how lame the All-Star voting is, or is that just obvious?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. I feel like it's embarrassing. I mean, if you looked at a breakdown, it was like Blue Jay, Ranger, Blue Jay, Ranger, Blue Jay.
Well, and they made it worse this year with the, 3 days before voting ends, we're going to clear the deck except for the top 2 vote getters.
Yeah.
And you vote again.
I couldn't really keep up with that.
No, it's too much work. And I read people on Twitter and they're like, I voted 500 times.
Yeah. And props to you.
How many times did you vote?
Once. Just so I could say I voted.
Okay. Good for you.
You voted 0 times.
Yeah.
Because you're a fake fan.
No, I'm one of these, it's rigged, it doesn't matter, I'm not voting.
Okay. Well, you can thank, I guess Adley Rutschman can thank you for Jonah Heim. No, but if you also look at, like, Jonah Heim is not just from the show, he's deserving. His statistics are deserving. He was a later round guy. That was the draft. We picked a bunch of catchers.
He was our third catcher that year,
pretty sure
right?
It was Cisco, and then friend of the show, Alex Murphy. And then Jonah Heim. And so if you were taking bets, which one would make the All-Star game first, I bet Jonah Heim would have been last on that list. But Jonah Heim turned out to be the best of the bunch.
Right. Alex had a much better forecast.
Yeah.
And he got a real nice signing bonus.
Yeah.
And he's out of baseball.
Yeah, injuries for Alex, unfortunately. And Chance Cisco, we're well experienced with Chance Cisco.
Yeah, no need
We've
to go there.
More than enough experience with Chance Cisco. So good for Jonah Heim. We feel good about that.
Yep.
And maybe this sets up for a 9th inning Batista to Rutschman save.
I mean, that's the way you set it up. So you get the hugs at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really want to see Rutschman hugging like a Yankee pitcher or anything.
Yeah, I don't either.
That makes it a little awkward.
So we feel good about Adley. Roque is not starting. No one even. I mean, when you look at the guys' statistics, it'll mention 8 All-Stars. You never know who started, who didn't start.
Right. All right.
So then we go to the next, I think,
Batista.
Expected is Batista, who's just statistically having the strikeout numbers for him stand out. That he just strikes out 2 guys every inning.
He
And you
was-
only pitch against 3 guys. you only get 3 outs. So if 2 of them are strikeouts, it's pretty good.
Right. He was the June again reliever of the month. I think that's his second time getting it this year.
21 strikeouts, 0 walks.
Yeah.
Doesn't get better than that.
No, pretty obvious that the mountain's going.
Yes. And great for him. Another great story, right?
Yep.
Came out of nowhere last year and it's been a stud. Next surprising, I think maybe we disagree on the next surprising because earlier I
Yanni or
said,
Cano.
yeah, I thought he was the next.
See, I think Cano's a surprise because you never see pitchers make the All-Star game that's not a starter or a closer.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with Cano is in 28 other teams, he could be their closer.
Right.
He could be our closer if we didn't have Batista.
Right. He would be.
So it's a tricky, yeah. So it's exciting for Cano to get that honor as well.
Yeah. Agreed. It's exciting for Cano. And he was really, I mean, his comments were, I don't know if you read some of his comments, but they were like, he's so grateful that he's putting so much into the game and that baseball he's gotten this back. I like the comments.
Didn't we get Cano for the Lopez trade?
Yes.
So, and that's where we were all concerned about, hey, we're trading an all-star.
Yeah. And turns out we got someone who's been better than Lopez. So
Yeah.
Mike Elias might know what he's doing. He might know what he's
You
doing.
can trust him a little bit.
Yeah. And he was like, and he wasn't even the main piece of that trade. But whatever. It turned out to be a great trade for the Orioles. And Cano, if you were to ask kind of before the season started, that's by far the most surprising guy to make the
Yeah,
All-Star
nobody
game.
knew who he was
You
before
knew
the
his
season
name,
started.
now he's
Yeah.
an All-Star.
Yep.
So it's been a pleasant surprise and a big reason why the Orioles are where they are.
Right.
And to me, what I thought was a big surprise was, and not because he doesn't deserve it, but just the competition is tough in the outfield, and that's Austin Hayes. So
Yeah.
good for Austin.
We all knew he had the numbers that
The
he
batting
deserved
average
it.
numbers, and yeah.
But outfield is where you get lost all the time.
Yeah, there's just a list of really great players, and so it's I mean quite the honor to be an outfielder and make the All-Star game with all that competition. So good for Austin Hayes. And we've already, I mean, the Austin Hayes is a great story because here's a guy who's been around the Orioles for a while now, and we always said if he can just stay healthy, and so far this year. I'm saying this. He's kind of banged up right now.
You're saying this as he took tonight
but he's not
off.
on the IL or anything. But he's had a healthy first half of the year, and he's shown what he can do. So a very good half for Austin Hayes.
Yeah. Have you seen any update about Hayes? I didn't see any conversation during the game or anything besides being day to day.
Yeah. So I don't think he's going to go to the IL. It looks like I would be surprised at this point.
Right.
But it also could be a thing where you wait to see how it feels tomorrow, and if it drags on a couple of days, then you can make the move retroactively. But
Right. But
you also have the All-Star break a week away, so I don't know how that much factors in.
Yeah.
But he's going to have a breakup here coming soon.
Well, and that goes into later on the Cowser conversation of do they give Hayes rest to make room to bring him up, or does that make things too complicated for after the All-Star game?
Yeah, and again, we can talk about the Westbrook thing too, but Westbrook was brought up here to play every day. I don't see Cowser being brought up for a week and sent back down. I don't see that as a scenario. I think when they bring Cowser up, they want to bring him up for good.
No, and that's, yeah.
The other All-Star game thing I want to bring up, and this because
Jerseys?
no, I don't.
Bert's
I don't
not
care.
here, but
yeah, if you want to talk about jerseys, Josh, I'll give you the floor to.
Well, I just think it's stupid that they wear like team jerseys instead of go back to when we were kids and wear your team, like wear Oriole jerseys during the All-Star game.
Right.
Not Seattle Mariners inspired jerseys.
Right. But they're just doing that to sell more jerseys, right?
Yeah, it's all money.
Yeah.
But which one looks cooler when you're flipping TV channels? It's way cooler to watch the game with all the random jerseys out on the field
I
and
agree.
see your team out there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's fun. Speaking of which, Josh, do you think this comes up? I feel like every year. Now we're in a little different. I feel like we're in a different space with this question, being how the Orioles, had 4 representatives.
Oh, is this the Aubrey Huff?
Should
Not Aubrey Huff. Ty Wigginton discussion?
Yeah, exactly. Should every team be represented in the All-Star game? Where do you stand on this? Should it be the best players, or should it be every team?
I saw this conversation on Twitter.
Yeah, that's
this week.
Yeah.
I love the rule, and I was talking with Bert about it today out in the pool.
Okay.
And I think he's in the same thing. I like the rule because you would like to think that every team has at least one player worthy of making the All-Star team. Now, I know we've had Ty Wigginton.
Yeah.
And he didn't deserve it. But there's something special about seeing every team out there. And I think that's part of seeing your team jersey out there is also part of that. That adds to that versus
Yeah.
a mixture, because now when you all wear the same special uniform, you can't tell watching it whether all teams are represented or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can give the Braves 8 players, you can give the Nationals 1 slot.
Yeah, I don't know if, and I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't even know if Ty Wigginton got an at bat. If he did, he probably just got one insignificant at bat. Like, you have enough guys on there that you can save your,
Right.
you can hide your underperforming players. But I agree. I think it's important that every team, especially, I mean, I can't.
It's a fake game.
I don't want to get mad here, but Oriole fans who are against every team being represented, I feel like are knuckleheads, because how many times would we not have a representative if they didn't do that role?
I think you weren't a fan before 2012, if that's how you feel.
Maybe. Because, I remember even those bad teams, it was fun to see the one Oriole represented. I thought that was cool. And certainly for kids, right? Like, even if the Orioles were terrible, I want to be able to watch the All-Star game and, have Silas recognize one player at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Of his fan. So,
I think it's the thing. It's a good thing.
All right. All right. So, are we good with the All-Star game? Just other note here too. Adley Rutschman home run derby.
Oh yeah, love
good
it.
About that?
Love it. His dad's going to pitch to him. I saw.
Yeah,
love it. I don't believe in the whole it throws off your swing and it's going to screw you up for the second half or any of that stuff.
Okay.
I think have fun, relax. It's out in the West Coast, so it's like his area. That's probably why he got the invite, is because it's Seattle and he's an Oregon boy. But I love it. You have any issue with him in there?
It doesn't bother you at all that he's not a power hitter. And this is
I would have rather seen
a contest for who hits the most home runs, and he's not a home run hitter.
But we had Trey Mancini in there, and he wasn't your.
He was more of a home run hitter, I feel like, than Adley Rutschman.
But that was again a good story.
Yeah,
I'd rather see Santander in there. I'd rather see Gunnar in there. But I mean, it is what it is.
All right. No, I'm excited to see Adley. I'm glad he's in there. I think it's gonna be fun.
It's always fun to get representation.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't consider if the home run derby is for the great home run hitters. I don't consider Adley part of that discussion, but I'm happy he's going to be in there. It's going to be fun, and he has a great personality, and he'll have fun with it. And I think they certainly want to promote young stars like Adley. So
exactly, and I think that's the key: is you want Adley to be the face of baseball.
Yeah,
and they're totally building him, and they're trying to grow it beyond Baltimore with how they did like the mic'd up in New York and everything.
Sure.
So I have no problem. I totally understand putting Adley in there. I see what you're saying about there should be a power hitter or whatever, but I can't complain about Adley. And Adley has 11 home runs this year. Santander has 14.
Right.
So Henderson, Mountcastle have 11. So if you're saying he's not a home run hitter, the only guy on the Orioles that hits more is Santander.
Yeah, but in terms of power hitting and just hitting the ball hard consistently.
Yeah, it'd be Gunnar.
Sure, Gunnar, Mountcastle, Santander are all more power hitters than Rutschman, who's kind of does it all, right?
Right. But I want Rutschman to be the face of this organization.
Yeah. All right. Well, you say that now, Josh, but when the home run derby happens and
no, he's going to be knocked out in the first round.
Well, I was going to say, and Adley takes the first 4 pitches because it's not right down the middle.
That'd be a Gunnar issue as well.
Yeah. Trying to work the count of a home run derby. Then we might start having questions about it.
His dad is pitching to him.
Yeah.
Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought Tyler Wells pitched today. He gave up 2 more home runs. That might not be a terrible idea either.
Yeah, so you're saying just bring on some of our own staff.
Yeah.
Bring our middle relief pitchers.
Yeah. So, bring back Tommy Hunter maybe.
Right.
I have a few guys who...
No, I just wonder, like, isn't that some pressure on your dad as well to pitch? Because you can always get mad at your dad and say, hey, I didn't hit home runs because you didn't throw them over the middle.
Yeah.
You were throwing all this junk to me.
And that's fine. I mean, Adley's going in. He's not Pete Alonso here. He's going in with no expectations. So It doesn't really matter what he does.
So... All right, but no, I like it. So All-Star, Home Run Derby is Monday night, next Monday, and All-Star Game's next Tuesday.
Okay.
So we'll probably record next week after Adley gets knocked out.
All right. Also, things happening before that. I'm going to touch on this briefly. I don't know if you had any thoughts on this. The Orioles are picking lower this year, but
From the draft?
Friday, the draft.
I haven't even looked. I hate that the draft. All right, when they made the draft change, I liked it because it added something fun to All-Star Week.
Yeah, especially when you're
But
picking
here's the problem.
number one.
Here's the problem: is now we're good, and now I don't want Mike Elias dealing with draft picks. I want Mike Elias and company focus on trade candidates and free agency, and what we can do to make this team better this year, not in 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, and it
So
becomes
I'd rather it's like send this back to December.
yeah,
Like let me focus on making the team better now.
yeah, and it does like it moves, changes the time clock from all your. It's not just Mike Elias; it's all what are the scouts doing?
Yeah.
Instead of scouting minor league talents for trades, you're scouting college baseball and these whatever events they have for all these baseball players.
It's weird. When we were a team that didn't matter and all we had to hope for was the draft, it made sense. And we were like, oh, yeah, this is exciting. But now I don't like it. I don't want it to take focus away. It's like, why not in December?
Yeah, the Orioles picked 17th, so the lowest by far under the Mike Elias era. But, I mean, Mike Elias so far is crushing the draft. I have no doubt he'll crush again this draft.
Right.
I can't talk names. I'm not at that level, but
No. Maybe later this week we can do a little research.
yeah,
But no. So when's the draft?
Friday.
This Friday.
Yep.
All right. So maybe let's do that. We can do our draft show after they choose the names.
Yeah, I think that's better, and then we can read what people wrote about them.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
the scouting reports and stuff.
It's better for us
Yeah.
because the draft picks that I know about is, and this isn't. You didn't even bring this up on your notes, but now the number one prospect in baseball is once again an Oriole.
Yeah, the timing of that, I didn't know if that fell under.
Yeah, that fell under the past 2 weeks.
Okay.
That fell under our time off. So
Okay.
Jackson Holiday now the top. So we had Adley,
Yeah,
then we had Gunnar, and now we got Jackson Holiday.
for this year and next year, presumably.
Yeah.
unless he gets knocked off the top spot, he's not a guy that's going to graduate anytime soon from that list.
No, I mean maybe next year.
Maybe the end of next year.
I could see him up mid-season next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what they when they move him to Bowie, because he's put up the numbers at Aberdeen all year. So I'm curious to see at what point do they move him to Bowie, and I think because if you can, depending on how many days he can get at Bowie, kind of he can go to Norfolk all the faster. So if he can get half a season in a Bowie, maybe you can make an argument at the beginning of next year he belongs in to start at Norfolk.
Yeah,
and then go from there.
I was looking at that. Yeah, he did get selected for the Futures game.
Yeah. Yes.
So for the American League Futures game, and he went to Aberdeen on April 24th. So he's been there a while.
Right.
So you feel like it'd be time to move him up to Bowie. I was looking at that stuff, and I wonder how much of that is other guys moving to make room for him. So like if Kowser comes up, you can then move Kerstead to AAA, and then you can shift him up, something like that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else matters besides Holiday. I think they're gonna do what's good for Holiday. I don't think they care about anything else, and I don't think they're gonna be. We've seen them be really slow with Westberg. Let's get to Jordan Westberg in second, and just really slow, and Kowser too, really slow with the call up. I mean, Westberg's 24. Henderson they were faster on. Rutschman, I thought they were gonna be faster on him, but then there was, a
little injury,
the COVID year, then the little injury.
But Holiday has better numbers than all those guys, right?
All of them.
So he's destroying it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a fast mover. I remember Gunnar was up here at 21. I think Holiday is going to move up the system fast. And
it reminds me of Machado.
Yeah.
Where he's young and just killing it.
Yeah.
He's 19 years old.
Yep. And so I think, I expect him to be up here next year if he continues playing like this. Around this time next year, I think you could make an argument for Holiday. So that's exciting to have another offensive and defensive weapon. From what everyone says, he's going to be the shortstop. So move over Gunnar, move over Westberg. He's your shortstop of the future. And so,
well, no, you got Westberg at second, Gunnar at third, and Holiday at short.
Yeah, and Kobe Mayo at first. So that's a stellar infield right there.
Do you think Mountcastle's coming back fast at first, or do you think they're really working them slow at AAA?
I think
Are they really, or is he done?
I think the vertigo
Did he
thing
lose
is
his
really
spot?
weird. I think the vertigo thing is really weird. I think there's nothing to do with losing his spot. think,
he's playing well now at Norfolk.
I know, but I think Vertigo's weird.
So you think he's still? I know Vertigo's weird, but is he still struggling with it?
He must be. I think he'd be up here if he wasn't. Wait,
Yeah.
I don't think Ryan Michaels is working on things really.
O'Hearn got 2 RBIs tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll do maybe more of the platoon situation with O'Hearn, but you can always make room. You can always move someone to DH. You can make room for both these guys in the lineup.
All right.
So I think it's Vertigo still getting back related.
All right, then back to shortstop. Why is Mateo still on this team?
I have no idea.
I mean, he didn't do anything tonight.
Why is? But I know why he's on the team.
Why?
Because he's got a huge ceiling. We saw what he did in April.
Yeah, but why? Is there
He's
a reason?
fast.
Is there a reason they can't
He's-
send him down to Norfolk to work on the bat?
I don't know if he has options yet. He is. I would doubt he has options left.
Oh, okay.
He's 99th percentile in defense. Like, he's a great defensive player. He's one of the fastest players in baseball. So that's why he's on the team. Now, why is he starting? I don't know why he's starting. I don't know why he's playing them. Is. His at bats are not just bad. I mean, his at bats are not just producing outs. They're ugly,
Right.
ugly.
And if
at-bats.
you remember, in April, he was one of the best players in baseball.
Right, he was.
And we were talking about how, like, is he really showing us something?
Right.
And he had a meteor fall from that.
Sure.
He's not worth anything right now to the team.
No, it's not. He's hurting the team.
Yeah.
He's a thorn in the team's side offensively, and so I don't know how you can justify putting him in there at this point every day when you have now. If you didn't have other options, it'd be one thing. That's how I got there to begin with. But when you have Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Westberg,
Yep.
it doesn't make sense for him to play.
And I think, is Ortiz still even on the team?
Joey Ortiz is in Norfolk now.
He went down for Westberg.
Yeah.
All right.
And by the way, he's on fire at Norfolk. He's hitting like 500 since he went back down.
Right.
And Ortiz is just as good as Mateo defensively, and offensively he's better right now. So why is Mateo here and Ortiz is not? Well, it's an issue of options and salary.
Yeah, you're right.
But that's it.
It's got to be available options.
Yeah. So, but Ortiz should be here. If you want the best roster, it involves Joey Ortiz and does not involve Jorge Mateo at this point. But I still like Jorge Mateo as, pinch runner, defensive replacement. I like that.
Right, on the bench. I'm fine with him on the bench.
Yeah. But
when you play every day, I expect you to contribute.
yeah, but Elias and Hyde have long leashes with underperformers. You saw it with Chirinos and Odor last year. I mean, Adam Frazier is not great offensively. But we seem to have long leashes with some of these players. Not with the young players. Not with the young players. If you're Joey Ortiz, if you're Kyle Stowers, if you're Terran Vavra, you have a short leash. But if you're some of these older veteran players, there seems to be a much, much, much longer leash as opposed to these younger players. So I'm curious to see how long we can continue to watch Mateo play like this, because when your offense is struggling, it's not just Mateo's fault, but having an automatic out does not help the offensive struggles.
Correct.
All right, let's get to Jordan Westberg. Josh, thoughts on what you've seen from Jordan Westberg so far?
I feel like they've been very slow playing Westberg, even at the pro level. Like, he's not playing every day. I'm ready for him to be in there. I know they say he's got back injuries or something. So I know he was on the bench again today. Or today was a hand thing because he got hit yesterday.
Yeah, he got hit in that key situation, and
so I know he's a little banged up.
Yeah, he played before that. He played in, I think it was 5 out of 6 games. He's playing every day.
All right, maybe it's just the games I happened to turn on. He wasn't playing.
No. Jordan Westberg is an everyday player.
All right, no, I'm happy with Westberg. His first game, he showed up against the Reds, right? Wasn't that his first game? And he got a hit. He got an RBI. He got a walk.
He scored a run. He did it all.
Yeah, he did it all.
And he also made that really cool play playing second base where he just flipped it to second for the out.
Yeah, I've liked his defensive. He had some defensive flash with the Twins as well. I know he didn't get any hits with the Twins, but the entire team didn't. The whole offense is down.
Sure. And you can look at the stat sheet and you can look at, I think when we talk about Gunnar Henderson at shortstop, he can move to third, but he's good enough to play short. And now we're talking about Jackson Holliday shortstop. And Jordan Westberg, I think, is a guy that always says, well, he's not going to stay at short. But I mean, I think the word is like Jordan Westbrook is good enough to play shortstop for other teams. It's not like he's bad defensively. It's not like he's a liability defensively. It's just that the other guys are so good. And so Jordan Westbrook has the flexibility to move to second or third. And this team, if you think about the makeup of this team in the infield, Arias can play third and second and first. Gunnar can play third and short. I think he played second a couple of times last year. I don't know if he's played second all this year. Westbrook can play third and second. Like, there's just so much flexibility. Ortiz is the same way, where he can play all the infield positions. That it makes it kind of fun, and you can move guys around based on your needs.
And I'll tell you what, I like it. He has had 19 at-bats and only 2 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I love those numbers. The strikeouts are the most irritating thing. So the fact that that's down low, that's great.
And listen, he's a power hitter. He had over 30 home runs. If you kind of take away his full season at Norfolk, combining the first half of this year and the second half of last year, he's got over 30 home runs there at Norfolk in the equivalent of 162 games. So he's going to hit home runs. He's a power hitter. He hasn't shown that yet. But he has shown, I mean, he hits the ball hard. He's one of these, and it seems like every guy we bring up, Gunnar, Adley, now Jordan, the ball flies off the bat. They hit the ball hard.
Well, and that's got to be something that they're doing down in the minors. They're definitely doing something right with developing these bats.
Josh, it's
that
wild.
They're patient at the plate, and they've got really good barrel rates.
Kobe Mayo has, I think, 17 home runs already this year. He's having a monster year. We already talked about Jackson Holliday. There's a guy also, Jude Fabian, who we drafted last year, who's having a
Judd Fabian.
Yeah,
Judd Fabian.
Judd Fabian, who's having a monster year.
Who I never heard of until this year.
Well, he just drafted last year, so it's not like he's been in the system forever.
All right.
He's a new guy. And so he's having a great year. And then, of course, our AAA team is just stacked from Connor Norby to, we already talked about Kauser, Heston Kjerstad. Seems like the real deal.
They won the first half championship.
Yeah, so I don't know about pitching development here at all with the Orioles. That's TBD.
No, but the bats are working.
But the bats, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing in producing, good batters and guys who can hit. And this is just, I think, the tip of the iceberg, because we got some guys, Kauser, Kjerstad, Mayo, who are coming. It's going to be fun to watch.
Right.
All right, so we'll go with Westbrook.
We'll go with Westbrook. Yep, very happy he's out.
Let's broaden this out, though.
When's the next guy come up? When's Kauser?
Oh, well, I was going to say, with the crowded infield,
all right,
it seems like Joey Ortiz is good enough to be on this team. Yeah. He's now on this team. Terran Vavra, I don't even know where Terran Vavra is, to be honest. I haven't seen his name in a while.
No.
But he's another infielder that make it lost. Connor Norman, plays second base.
Fraser, every time I'm ready to count Fraser out, he performs well.
If you're Hyde or Elias, what's, Josh, your ideal kind of infield look like? Yeah. If you were on the team, what's your everyday infield lineup with this crowded infield?
All right, let's see. I'll put Gunnar at third, Westbrook at short, Urias at second, Santander at first, so that I can fit in more outfielders.
All right.
Fraser doesn't do much for me, except, like I said, every time I'm ready to be done with him, he performs. Vavra, get rid of. I don't care. Mateo, put him on the bench. Bring him in as late inning guy. Who else am I missing? Is that it? Is that our infield?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
even real concerned about Mountcastle. And O'Hearn. Get rid of O'Hearn.
What? Are you insane?
Get rid of O'Hearn. I don't need O'Hearn on this team.
Okay, I don't understand that. You might want to look up O'Hearn's stats before you talk more about O'Hearn. But my ideal lineup would be,
all right,
and would be at third Ramon Arias, Gold Glove winner.
Why are you putting him at third?
Because he won the Gold Glove there last year.
Yeah, but Gunner's got the best arm and the best range.
Okay, exactly.
So you're putting him at short because of that?
He's my shortstop.
All right.
And Westbrook is second, and O'Hearn's first. And if you don't want O'Hearn at first, you might want to look that he's batting .297 this year, has 6 home runs, OBP at .344. You might want to look at those stats before you dismiss O'Hearn so quickly.
Fine. O'Hearn can stay, but I still don't like it.
All right. So that's my idea. But then the odd man out for me, that kind of next guy up is Joey Ortiz, and I'm almost tempted to put Joe Ortiz at second and Westbrook at third and do all the young guys.
And get Urias out.
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to do that, but I'm not quite
Has
ready.
Ortiz played first? We can get O'Hearn out of here.
Didn't Ramon Arias played first today, so Ramon Arias
True.
can go there first.
True.
And then, so that's a Hyde question, though. And then I feel like there's a larger question about Elias. Do you trade because you have a plethora of talent? Or, I mean, we've seen it already. Injuries happen. There's stuff going on with Ryan Mountcastle.
That's a whole
Who knows
different.
when
That's a whole different discussion that we need like almost a whole episode to get to kind of dig into trade talk and all, because
All right.
it's a balance also of like just sticking with the guys that got you here, and you don't want to abandon the guys that got you here,
Yeah.
even though you've got these young guys coming up that can take you to the next level.
I'll tell you right now, Adam Frazier isn't going anywhere. I know people wanted him traded, and he wasn't.
No, he's
any
got no
infields.
value to anyone else. He's got no value.
Well, and he has, even if he had value, he has tremendous value to Hyde and to Elias.
Why?
I don't know, but he does.
You mean just because they like him?
Yes, because he's a veteran leader and he's a
right.
baseball player and whatever else they say about him. I think they really like him, and I don't think he's going anywhere.
All right.
And it's not always about the production, the numbers on the field. It's
Is there
about
any way? Can
locker
we?
room and clubhouse and all that stuff.
All right. Can
All
we
that
just
nonsense.
Can we just make a whole team of these old guys that Hyde likes? We can put in Frazier. We can put in Varvra. We can put in McCann. We can
Yeah.
put Hicks on this team.
Hey, this is the beauty about being a manager. We used to complain about Buck Showalter's love affair with Ryan Flaherty and his hatred of Hyun-Soo Kim.
Yep.
I mean, it's the privilege of being a manager. You can play your favorite guys and bench the guys you don't like. It's the perks of being
You think Hyde?
the head guy.
You think Hyde's making these calls or Elias?
Well, this is a discussion we had before. I think it's probably conversations, right? I don't think they're fighting about it. I would imagine
Right.
they're
I would hope
cooperative
not.
conversations where they're talking about but I don't think Hyde would be going against Elias's wishes, and I would imagine Hyde's not fighting with Elias about the lineup
No,
either. I think it's
I don't think so
a
either.
joint decision.
No, and you know how it goes. Hyde would always want the best guys up right away.
Sure.
So Elias has to hold him back a little.
I bet Hyde would prefer if Grayson Rodriguez was there. I bet Hyde
True.
would prefer if Colton Cowser was there.
Yeah.
But Mike Elias, has his reasons. All right, let's get to the crowded outfield. Well, I don't know how long we're going, but
We're like 35 minutes in.
all right, let's get to the crowded outfield real quick. The Cowser,
Yep.
Mike Elias said he's ready. Mike Elias said he's proved what he needs to
Right.
prove at Norfolk.
Waiting for an injury.
We just don't have a spot for him right now.
Yeah. Looking for a pothole.
Yeah. Keegan Aiken found a pothole last week. But the reason Keegan Aiken found a pothole, Josh, is that Keegan Aiken's not very good.
Right.
We don't have anyone like that. Hayes is good. Mullins is good. Hicks has been good.
Is Hicks
Santander is
Hicks
good.
coming down?
I don't see the Orioles making the move to bring in Hicks just to dismiss him after he's been great for a month and had a couple bad weeks just walking away from Hicks. I don't see that happening. I don't see Elias going
So
back.
you-
I think Hicks is here to stay.
You think it's waiting for Cowser's just going to have to wait for an injury?
Josh, sometimes injuries never happen, though.
Well, yeah. Ideally, injuries don't happen.
Right.
All right. So,
And he hinted at when Mullins got hurt,
right.
he hinted that he didn't say it, but he said Cowser would have been,
Yeah, if Cowser was healthy.
very much in consideration for that spot if he was healthy, but he
Right.
was hurt in that same time period. So a whole kind of Grayson Rodriguez thing where just the injury was terrible timing.
Right. Is there anything we can do to get Cowser up here and on the bench?
No, because I think like Westberg, who's played 5 out of 6 games or 5 out of 7
You want him
games,
every
whatever it
day.
is, Cowser will play every day.
Yeah, but you can move Santander to DH when you're not putting Adley at DH.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that there's ways to make it fit. And it's easy to point out that there's an easy guy to move if you wanted to move him who plays outfield, and that's Ryan McKenna, right? You could make an argument.
I totally forgot McKenna's still on this team.
Yeah. You can make an argument that you could move Ryan.
But McKenna's a high guy.
But I think there's a bunch of guys in here: Mullins, Hicks, Santander, Hayes. Right, that's 4 guys for 3
Yeah.
outfield spots that Elias wants to see play every day.
Right.
And so now all of a sudden you're going to have 5. I mean, the good thing about McKenna is they don't want to play him every day. So there's no pressure to get him in the lineup.
Right. But you're right.
Where there's going to be pressure
You're
to
right.
get all these other guys in the lineup.
Hayes, Mullins, Santander, Hicks are all proven guys in these positions.
Right, who want playing time.
Yep.
And I think when Cowser's brought up, he's not going to be in a McKenna role. I think McKenna, one of his talents is that he can do that role.
So do you even waste bringing him up for an injury if you think it's one of these guys that's going to come back in 2-3 weeks?
Yeah, I don't. I think it's got to be a long-term thing.
So how? Trade? Does that go back to we options to trade someone?
Yeah, I don't see any other situation where how he can get here, but he's ready. But then if you talk about the trade, that means you're going to trade a regular outfielder?
No, you're going to trade Cowser.
You're not trading Cowser.
You're out there saying he's ready, so someone else will give you cash for him.
No.
Hopefully a player, but it seems like all we trade for is cash.
No, I don't think Cowser's getting traded.
Then you're trading Santander because you're not trading Hayes. You're not trading Mullins. Hicks has no value.
Santander's not getting traded either. This is a team, Josh, that lacks power. He hits the most home runs for us.
That's true too.
He leads the team in RBI and home runs, and this is a team who needs more home runs. I mean, honestly, if you look at that list of outfielders,
Yeah, but you know he's going to want to make some moves at the trade deadline.
yeah,
So in order to bring in a good pitch in that we know we need, you're going to have to give up something good.
yeah. I mean, I have no disillusions. I would not be surprised at all if the Orioles made 0 moves to trade deadline. If I was a betting man and the over/under was 2 for the moves
I'd go under.
I'd bet under. If it was 1, I don't know.
I don't know. The problem
I might push.
The problem with an over/under bet is we know Mike Elias likes to do the small little crap that means nothing to the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be a middle of the bullpen arm, right? That could be the deal.
Well, that's all. That's what we want. I'll be perfectly happy with a middle of the bullpen arm, an established long relief guy. Sounds good.
Or it could be, Josh, prepare yourself. It could be Austin Hayes being traded for 2 18-year-olds you never heard of.
No, it won't be that.
Josh, it could be that.
No, you're not going to trade away this year for something that might happen in 3 years. You don't trade away good for good now. You don't trade away an all-star now while you're making a push for the playoffs for something in a couple of years.
Josh, it was how short is your memory? Jorge Lopez, Trey Mancini traded away.
That wasn't a real push
for young players.
We weren't making a push for the playoffs.
We weren't trying to make the playoffs last year?
No, we had no chance last year.
I'm just saying it's possible, Josh. You trade Austin Hayes for a couple 18-year-olds.
We have had 3 winning months in a row. We have not lost. We have not been swept since Adley Rutschman came up here. Trading Trey Mancini last year is nothing like trading Austin Hayes this year.
I think it's similar. We have the 3rd best record in baseball.
Okay. Where were we last year when you traded Trey Mancini?
Well, how about this? Right now, Fangraphs, because that's what Mike Elias cares about, percentages.
20%.
Right. Well, this year, right now, 60% to make the playoffs.
Okay.
60.
All right. So
I bet last year it was probably 20.
No.
Or 30.
No.
Yeah. At the trade deadline?
No, we tracked it last year. We never got above 4%, I'd say, last year.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. We were closer than that.
I don't think so.
Go back and look at the numbers. We'll go back and look at the numbers after this podcast. We'll revisit our next one, the specific numbers. But Josh, here's why. You trade Austin Hayes for a couple 18-year-olds. Just stay with me. And the team gets better. What? The Orioles get better.
No, I know. You're saying depth. You're saying because Cowser comes up and takes that spot.
I'm saying it's possible that Colton Cowser right now is a better player than Austin Hayes. The all-star Austin Hayes. Is that possible? Maybe that's dumb. I think it's possible, though.
You're not going to get the same performance out of Cowser this year that you're getting out of Hayes this year.
I don't know. I think that's debatable. I think full package, Cowser is, I think, might be a little better defensively. It's a little bit faster, better arm. I know Austin Hayes, everyone loves Austin Hayes' arms. I think Colton Cowser is a better outfielder. And I think he gets more walks, higher OBP guy, doesn't strike out. I think he could fit your roster.
I think he could fit the roster. I don't think he could put up the numbers of Hayes because Hayes is having a great, stellar year.
Right.
And
AKA selling high.
I get the selling high.
Yeah. I'm not trying to ship Austin Hayes out of here, Josh. I'm just trying to, because I love Austin Hayes and I want him to stay.
You just want to make room for Cowser.
I just want to see Colton Cowser play. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just don't know how it's going to happen. Elias doesn't know how to happen. Elias says he's ready.
No.
But Elias can't put him anywhere.
Right.
It's a tricky spot.
And I can totally see Elias going into this trade deadline and doing nothing. Because he can easily sell me on doing nothing. He can say, oh, we have middle relief issues. Well, John Means is coming back in 3 weeks, and he's going to go in the bullpen.
Or better yet, Grace Rodriguez is coming up in 2 weeks, and Cole Irvin is moving to the bullpen. Exactly. Or Dean Kramer is moving to the bullpen.
Right.
You can move some of these starters.
I can see the arguments of saying these guys are coming up. DL Hall showed up out of nowhere, and suddenly we're going to put him in.
No, DL Hall is not wearing an orange uniform this year.
No, what happened to DL Hall?
He is, something's going on with him.
Does he have injury
witness
issues?
Protection
Or
program?
is he in the doghouse? Like,
no, what happened was
why is he in Sarasota?
So he was pitching at Norfolk as a starter, right? And the whole thing was, we're not moving to the bullpen, he's going to be a starter. Then they made an announcement. I don't know the timeline here. I'm going to mess the timeline. But they made an announcement saying, listen, we're going to cut back his innings as a starter.
Right.
And he's going to do a piggyback, throw 3 innings or whatever. Then they realized his velocity's down. The velocity's down. That's weird.
So then it's a panic.
And so I didn't say panic. It's just try to figure out what's going on here, get back the velocity. And so they remove him from the Norfolk rotation and they send him to wherever it is, Sarasota. Yeah. To work in the spring training complex, to work on stuff. I assume they're doing all the analytics, the whatever stuff that they have down there to try to kind of figure him out.
All right.
And so I think, the fact that he could come from there to Norfolk to the Orioles, I think is a pipe dream. I don't know what's happening the day to day because no one knows, I guess, what's the day to day situation with DL Hall. It almost seems like there's more to the story.
Right. They called it deliberate physical training phase while continuing to keep his arm going.
Right. Which sounds like, I don't know, like he's like you with Pablo Sandoval when he comes in 300 pounds and trying to get in shape.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's odd. I don't know. I'll tell you, I tried to pull, while you're talking about that, I tried to open an article from the Baltimore Banner. I tried to open an article from the Washington Post. I tried to open an article from the Baltimore Sun all about this.
Yeah.
And they're all paywalls. I can't get past them unless I send them all $1.
Nothing's free these days.
It's ridiculous.
Support your local paper.
Which one of those? Which one of those do you subscribe to?
But none of them. But not the Athletic because the Athletic no longer has local writers.
Right, and I do pay for the Athletic. I got to cancel that one.
Yeah, cancel that one and go to the Baltimore Banner.
Yeah.
So, we'll just see how the Colton Cowser thing plays out because it's tough when you say a prospect is ready, but we have no spot for him. That's a weird spot to be in.
Yeah, it's a spot we haven't been to in many years. I don't even remember during the good Buck years, we still always had a spot we could fit someone in if we got a better person.
Yeah, and I think Colton Cowser is that good. Yes, I don't know, but I don't know how long can you keep a top prospect in Norfolk crushing it and not call him up? How long can you do that? Can you do that the whole season? Like if they don't make any moves trade deadline, can you just and there's no injuries? Can you keep it down the entire season? I don't know if you can do that.
Does it get trickier? It makes us more anxious as fans. But does it make it trickier for you as the GM when the offense struggles the way it has this past week?
Yeah, I think the Orioles, who you mentioned, had a winning month every month of the year, had the second best record in the American League, third best record in baseball. I think it's still
lost
true.
4 games in a row for the first time this past week.
Yeah, you have wiggle room, right? Like you have room to slump.
Right.
It's not
all good teams slump.
Yeah, no one's running around with their, we played the Yankees today. You look at the rosters top to bottom. I don't see the Yankees roster being far superior to the Orioles roster. Like we have a good roster with a good team. So I don't think there's need to panic. I don't think there's need to pull a trigger just because. We brought Rustberg up a week ago.
Right.
He was supposed to be an offensive upgrade, and he's been fine offensively, but you've watched enough Trout Angels teams to know that one guy doesn't really matter when the whole team is struggling. But just real quick to prove my point with Colton Cowles, just to wrap up this discussion. He's had 203 at bats this year, so large sample size. And if you take his whole minor league career, he's had 800 at bats. Has an OBP this year of 459. He gets on base almost half the time.
Okay.
That's amazing. His batting average this year, 330.
All right. I'd like to see that in
10
New York
home runs
tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, for his career in the minors, his OBP is 431. Like, the kid just gets on base. He doesn't strike out a lot. He walks a ton. I mean, he is your gunner, your Adley. I mean, he is of that kind of ilk. He bats. He's a left-handed too. We love our left-handed batters at Camden Yards. So yeah, he should be here. He should be here now. He's proved all he has to do in the minors, so the numbers speak for themselves.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm curious to see what happens with that.
All right. Well, we lost the first one in New York. We've got 3 more.
Classic Yankee fashion. Up by 1 run, and you're just waiting for it to be blown in late innings.
Up by 1. We were up by 3 at one point.
Yeah, sure. And then there was 2 solo home runs by the 8th and 9th hitters in the Yankees lineup.
Typical Tyler Wells.
Well, just give him the solo home runs, but pitched well enough to win. There's no doubt about that.
No. When you hand off the ball, 2-3.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, I think it's good for Cano to be put in these tight spots, and he had that wild pitch. But this is a guy who's getting kind of his first major league season this year, so it's good for him to pitch in that hostile environment, because this is, that kind of that it was a sellout at Yankee Stadium, kind of that playoff vibe. And I tell you what, look at the wild card situation. This very likely could be a Yankee Orioles wild card type situation series. So, I like Cano being put in these spots, even though he wasn't successful because he had that wild pitch. I like him being put in high leverage situations because he needs to kind of experience these high leverage situations, and hopefully that'll pay dividends down the road.
Right.
I also Coulomb gave up the big home run. He gave up that big home run to the Braves too. It reminded me of that flashback to we were at the Braves game.
Yeah.
And he gave that big home run to that former Blue Jay jerk. But he concerns me too, and he seems to hang too many pitches in big spots. I mean, there's something about coming in a big spot, and Coulomb's really good, I feel like, where there's no pressure. But it seems like, and maybe this is just kind of my own recency bias and confirmation bias of seeing the Braves game and now this game, but the bullpen, and then the bullpen, the back end, I like Bauman, I like Cano, I like Bautista, Coulomb I'm okay with. Outside of that, I really don't like anybody in that bullpen.
Right.
And unfortunately, you can't throw those guys every single game.
All right.
So another position where Elias, if he wanted to, could upgrade.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But yeah, this is a big series. We lost the first game. We have a couple more there in Yankee Stadium, but it's big in terms of it just feels big with sellouts at Yankee Stadium, playing in New York.
Right.
It's the Yankees.
Tomorrow's at 1:00. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be packed. It's going to be July 4th crowd.
Yeah.
So we got Gibson, Kramer, and Bradish for the next 3.
Yeah, and it's big because listen, we're fighting for spots in the AL East, and we play each other less, right? So it's almost like these games are amplified because we play them less, and it's going to come down to, at the end of the season, do you think the Orioles and Yankees will be separated by more than 2 or 3 games? I find it unlikely. I think the Orioles and Yankees and Rays and Blue Jays and maybe even the Red Sox are going to be battling it out all season. And so when we play each other head to head, it's really important that you play well, because that could be the difference in where you end up at the end of the year.
Yeah, totally.
So, we'll see. Hopefully, I've weirdly have more confidence in our pitching right now than I do our offense, even playing at Yankee Stadium.
It's just been a down week
run.
for the offense. One of these games we're going to put up 10 runs. It's what we do. 10 runs, and then it's like we struggle to get 3 for the next day.
Yeah, I mean, we were playing, a guy today who just coming off a perfect game, and it felt like the bats were coming back alive. I mean, we had, I think Rutschman had 3 hits, O'Hearn had a couple hits. It felt like Santander had a couple hits. Like the middle of our lineup came through, but then we just couldn't get those.
Yeah, if we can split
big hits.
if we can split with New York, and then take the series back with Minnesota this weekend, then we're in a great position going into the All-Star break.
Yeah, yeah. And today we lacked. I mean, I think one of the differences in today's game is, and this concerns me a little bit about going forward.
Well, no Hayes today. That hurt.
No Hayes or Westberg, but the lack of home run power, right? We saw the Yankees have 3 home runs, 2 solos, and then the 3-run homer. The Orioles had 1 extra base hit, or I guess 2, because Santander had a double and Rutschman had a double, but no home runs, just 2 extra base hits. So we need power this lineup. I like O'Hearn a lot. He just doesn't really hit for power a lot, and he's sitting in the middle of our lineup.
Right.
If you look at our middle, like 4, 5, 6, O'Hearn, Arias, Mullins, they're just not hitting for power right now. This lineup needs punch, needs power, and unfortunately, the lineups right now does not have. So that means you have to string together 2 or 3 or 4 hits to score a run, which we're having a hard time doing.
Right. So how are we doing on your wheel? We cover all your topics?
We'll get to Mass another time.
Masson's real simple. Here, let me tease Masson for you.
Okay.
Because this is what we can talk about later this week.
Okay.
Is the Masson lawsuit stuff all got settled. For 2012 to 2016, at least, it got settled. And they say since that's settled, it'll all come off of that. Now, Masson has had money in escrow sitting aside to have to pay this.
Sure.
So the report came out that Masson now must pay $100 million to the Washington Nationals and $100 million to the Baltimore Orioles. So everyone keeps talking about this Masson thing as the Orioles having to pay the Nationals. But the Orioles get $100 million out of this escrow money as well that they've been setting aside. So now
That is already there.
Yeah, but it was in a bank account that they couldn't touch.
Right.
And now it's given to them.
Right, but it's not like the Orioles have to find under their couch cushions.
No,
for
exactly.
$100
We don't have to find $100 million.
Right.
The court said, here's $100 million you can spend now.
Right.
So now we're going out there. We've got free agency in the fall. We've got some trade deadline stuff where, hey, can we lock people up long term? And we got $100 million that you can't say we might not have anymore. We know we have it.
Right. And we still had about a million City Connect jerseys.
Exactly.
That we can now turn into.
Attendance is up, 20, 30% this year?
Yeah, it's up.
It's up. I think it's one of the highest jumps up in Major League Baseball, which shows winning brings people back, along with
not
giveaways.
a mystery. Yeah, we've
the
been saying it for a while.
Hawaiian shirts definitely packed the yard.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what the Orioles can do now. But they got $100 million is twice our current payroll for this year.
Oh yeah, I think more than that, right? I think I would guess we're in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the Masson thing that we can talk about later when we talk about later this week. Let's talk about some trade candidates and stuff. And
sure,
I don't know if the $100 million will get us a Ohtani, but it's a start.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing up but I mean, I think it clears the way for the Nationals to be sold.
Yes, which makes and there's a lot of talk about. Again, I guess we'll talk about this. There's a lot of talk about the Wizards and the Caps moving out of D.C. and moving to Northern Virginia.
Right.
So then they can pull from that whole fan base of Northern Virginia and
and this guy, whatever, owns
Lerner.
Yeah, Lerner already owns them.
Right.
And now people are saying he wants to buy the Nats to make his own
and
TV
then the
station.
talk is that the Nats would, if you're going to move the Wizards and the Caps, you're going to move the Nationals also to Northern Virginia, which does really well for the Baltimore Orioles. Get them further away
from us.
Then it's the more they're in Virginia, the less it's like you got those border Oriole fans.
Yeah.
And suddenly Anne Arundel County and Howard County is a little further from Nats Park, which is what you keep wanting.
Yeah. And I mean, the reverse is true too. It would make the Orioles sell easier too when that happens.
For Nashville.
What? No, to
No,
a new
you mean
owner.
locally
Not
to a
move,
new owner.
to a
Yeah,
new
new owner locally. Yeah, the
when-
Orioles are not moving.
When Cal Ripken buys the Orioles, it'll make it easier.
Right.
Now when
Right.
the sale happens, the Orioles I think will happen.
But local. When we say the Orioles will sell, we
Just to
don't,
new ownership.
We don't mean they're moving.
No, just a new ownership.
We both agree Major League Baseball will never allow the Orioles to move.
Which I think we're going to be great for new ownership, but it also makes you wonder that whole thing with ownership too. I think plays into trades and free agency because maybe less likely to pursue big dollar candidates if you're trying to prepare to sell. You want to be
right. That's what you
have
see
some
with the
flexibilities.
Nationals going down and selling off big contracts.
Right. So the
Preparing
new
to sell.
Right. So the new owner isn't burdened with these
Yes.
contracts,
But-
and you can attract more buyers.
But what also helps attract buyers is a World Series championship.
Oh yeah, or a team set up to be in contention every year in the
Correct.
playoffs, which
Yep.
is how we're set up now.
And attendance going up helps as well.
Oh yeah, helps the, whenever John, I know he's going to pull back the curtain and show the books, and when he does that,
Whatever. The books are never being shown.
the attendance numbers will show that it's good
No.
for the books.
His next press conference will be to announce another concert.
Yeah.
So
All right, I think we did good with these topics.
I think we did great.
Yeah, and I have a list of like most tradable Orioles and most untradeable Orioles that we'll get to in our trade discussion later.
Oh, the most untradeable. That's a good topic.
Yeah, I got 6 guys.
I can tell you your untradables. Adley, Gunner, Kowser, Westberg.
I don't have Kowser or Westbrook on there.
All right, so you're saying current guys. You're saying Santander because he's our only power.
Well, I have 2 prospects on there.
All right, we'll get to it later this week.
Yeah, we'll get to it later. See, you thought you could name them all, and Santander's not on there either. You don't know. You don't know my
Oh,
list.
because I didn't think about pitching. Sorry, I forgot pitching.
And
Yeah, the rest of your list is pitching.
I got 2 pitchers on there.
All
My
right.
6. All right.
All right.
So far, you only got what?
I got
Adley
3.
and Gunner. And Jackson. Do you say Jackson Holiday?
No, I didn't say Jackson Holiday
Oh, okay.
because I thought then you were saying Major League talent
No,
only.
I got 2 prospects on there.
Oh, Kerstead.
No, he's not on there either.
All right.
All right, we'll get to
All right,
another
we'll get
show.
to it. We'll get to another show.
All
Let's skip. Let's try to record during the day sometime so Bert can join us too.
All right. Sounds good. All right, boys and girls. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, we'll try not to take multiple weeks off again.
Yeah, but sometimes it happens. Internet issues, right?
Yeah, life happens.
Yeah. But in the meantime, appreciate you guys listening. Go ahead to iTunes, write us a 5-star review. Remind us how much you appreciate us, so we'll be less likely to take a week off.
Hey, Matt,
Yeah.
I got to tell you about this.
Okay.
There's a new gimmick that a 336er started that I'm all for,
Yeah.
and I think you'd be for this too.
Okay.
If you have a question about the Orioles, most people send it to us via Twitter, right?
Sure.
Do you respond to them?
Sometimes Facebook Messenger.
Okay, I got a new one.
Okay.
Venmo.
Okay.
A 336er out there Venmoed me $1 with a question for the Orioles.
Oh, nice.
And I answered that question. So then he sent me another $1 and another question.
Oh, wow.
So I will now answer all questions via Venmo. You send me a question anywhere else, I'll probably answer it. You send it via Venmo, I'll definitely answer it.
What, like, do you have to send money when you send a
Yes.
message on Venmo?
Yes, you do.
That's the deal?
Yes, you do. He put it in because Venmo's about sending money back and forth. So he put it in as his notes about what the money was for with the question about the Orioles.
So when you respond, do you respond with the $1 back?
No, you can reply without a
you can
dollar
reply
back.
without a dollar
so
back.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right. That's a new one. I
Exactly. I thought that was fun.
have to re-download my Venmo. All right. You can follow us on Twitter at Section336 or on Venmo, I guess, as well. At Section336 Show. You can like us on Facebook. You can follow Josh on Twitter.
At Josh Soroka, and check out birdlandsports.com. 25% off this week off all shirts related to the players that made the All-Star game.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, maybe we can. I don't know if there's an update to your situation, too, with Birdland Sports. We can get into another day.
Really good conversations with Major League Baseball and continuing conversations with Major League Baseball Players Association.
All right, fair
So
enough.
all shirts right now had to make some changes, but I think we're in good standing.
All right.
So quick update there.
Yeah, I like how, we can get to the Masson stuff next week.
And then we just
Next
break it down.
episode. Well, let me just talk about masks. Oh, we can get to Berlin. Let me just talk about it. All right, fine. You can follow me on Twitter at section336.
You already did that.
Well, no, I did the show, 3366.
Okay.
The show, Twitter. My personal Twitter, section336. Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go O's. And call up Cowser.